This episode is brought to you by Farmers Insurance. When was the last time you reviewed your insurance policy? So it's been a while, huh? Well, no worries. My friends at the Austin Brummett Agency would love to hear from you and provide you with some amazing rates. Give them a call at 678-402-8262 or email them at abrummett@farmersagent.com. That's ABRUMIT at farmersagent.com, and tell them Harley sent you. Insiders, Inside the Bubble with Harley G is now sponsored by BetterHelp. As a partner of this episode, listeners can access the BetterHelp link located in the show notes to receive 10% off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp and get matched with a therapist who will listen and help. Go to BetterHelp, that is BetterHelp.com/inside the bubble, the link to get started. You're listening to Inside the Bubble with Harley G, the podcast for the superwoman. Every week, we connect with amazing individuals who share their inspirational experiences and stories while motivating and inspiring purpose. It's time to hang your cape. Grab your coffee, your water, your cocktail, and come on inside the bubble with me, your host, Harley G. Welcome, insiders, to Inside the Bubble with Harley G. I am your host, Harley G, which is really cool because, like, the other day I was telling somebody about the podcast and they were like, "Is Harley G your stage name?" And I was like, "Well, I guess it is. I have a stage name, y'all. This is awesome." I feel like I've arrived. Yes. I have a stage name. Okay. Mm-hmm. So anyway, welcome. Today I am talking to Kethy Gonzalez with an E. Okay, I want you guys to understand that her name is Kethy, not Kathy. Okay, love it. But Kethy and I go way back. Yes. We go back to our Turner days. Mm-hmm. So way back in the day, we used to work at Turner, and we drove. Oh, good old trusty Van Pool. Those were the days. Like, I remember coming up with an idea where we actually wanted to start like Vanpool confessionals. And I thought it was going to be great because we had so much content. Like, it would have been amazing. Yeah. Yeah. This was like before Uber, before Lyft. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It would have been awesome.
Yeah. We could have done our own version of carpool karaoke, vanpool karaoke,
all of that. So, yeah. Well, here we are now. Yes. All right. Well, today I want to, so I feel like you are, the way you engage and interact and the way you are so involved and close-knit with your family, I'm just kind of like, wow, that's pretty amazing. Like the community and the family that you have around you, the nucleus. It's like you guys are, it's like one person goes left, everybody goes left. One person goes right, like the support system. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. And it's been like that ever since I've known you. Mm-hmm. And I want you to tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and where you're from. I know you lived in New York for a little while, but tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. Let's see. I was born in New York. Mm-hmm. Yes. And my parents are from Ecuador. Mm-hmm. Growing up, Spanish was inside, English was outside. So all three of us are fully bilingual. Mm-hmm. And I thank God for that because I appreciate it now.
Yes. Did you teach your kids? Are they fluent, like bilingual, like you? And she puts her heads down. She's like, oh.
No, but we're trying.
Okay.
We're trying. And, but as you said, in New York, everything was family. Mm-hmm. Every weekend was spent with a family because it was a special occasion, because it was a birthday, because it was just family.
Yes.
You know, and if I had friends, those friends would come into my
the
family
family.
events.
Yes.
Because that's just the way it is. And my parents were strict, so they rarely let us go out. So when I met Jonathan, my husband, and he took me kind of away from that little by little, my family was not happy.
Oh, I want to talk about that.
Because they're taking me away from them.
Yes, exactly.
And then now I'm exploring other things. I was born in New York, and he's taken me to places that I'd never been to.
Okay.
Because I was always with the family.
Right.
Okay.
So your husband comes along, and then
Yes.
he takes you away. Your family is not happy about that.
Correct.
How was that conflict? How was that friction between you and your family and your husband, right?
Yes.
Because I would imagine that there was a little bit of resentment from your family to your husband.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And your girl. Ooh.
And I'm 28.
What?
Yeah, so he couldn't grasp that.
Wow.
You're 28 and you're living at home?
Yes, yes.
And I was like, but that's my family.
But that's how we are.
That's how we
and
are.
And so he's not Ecuadorian as well.
No.
He is
He was born in New York also, and his parents are from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. So what are some differences between the Ecuadorian culture and the Puerto Rican culture that maybe added to that tension, I want to say?
I would think Puerto Ricans are just a little bit more liberal.
Okay.
And we're more conservative and more traditional.
Okay.
And then where he was brought up in white, Irish, Italian neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
Whereas us, it was
everybody
all
was,
the Ecuadorians.
all the yes.
Ecuadorians. or a lot of Hispanics. So we know a lot of Puerto Rican culture and Dominican culture, everything that has to do with Latin, Hispanic culture, we know. Whereas he would know more of American, you know. So bringing those together, he just didn't understand.
Okay.
You know, he would think you should be out of the house.
Right.
And I would tell him, well, I will be out of the house in my white gown and veil. That's when I will, you know.
Pure.
Yes. Yes.
That's the word I'm going to put out there.
Yes.
Okay. So where'd you guys move away to? So
while we were dating, he heard a lot about Atlanta.
Okay.
His friends said that the housing market was affordable, a lot of jobs, and it was great. So he presented that idea to me, and I said, "No, are you crazy?
You said
I can't leave the house
what
without."
Where's the ring?
So at that moment, my mom and I were butting heads.
Okay.
We were just butting heads. And then I told him months later, I said, "Is that offer still open?"
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
so did you say yes because you wanted to get away, or say yes because you were bumping heads with your mom?
A little bit of both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think at that time also I was finding my voice.
Right.
I was standing up for myself because again, with my family or the culture or the tradition, you just don't talk back.
Yeah. Oh.
You just do what they say. You know. And so I said yes, that I would go away with him or move out of the house. And then we sat down with my parents after we took him out to dinner. And my father was fine. My father was like, "That's fine as long as you take care of my daughter," you know. And then we were just waiting for my mom. We're like,
"Oh boy!"
And she's in a wheelchair, and she's like this, and she goes, "The only thing I have to say is, if things don't work out,
oh boy,
my doors are always open."
Aww.
Yes. And I was like, I don't want to go.
So at that point, you're like, "Well, shoot, I'm gonna stay home then."
Exactly. Oh, and then when, you know, we're planning to move, whatever, her and I are just started getting close.
Oh, that's that's typically the way it happens. Okay, so you guys get your parents' blessings, and you move out. You come to Atlanta.
Yes.
Okay, and then what?
And then
Life starts happening.
He got a job immediately. I got a job after a month. I was depressed. I mean, I would call my mom every day, crying, telling her that I miss her, but then we made it. We made it. So, and because it's not that we're close. We're just close. I love to be with my family. And every vacation or any chance I got, I would go to New York.
Oh, wow.
You
okay.
know? So I just would.
And this was the first time for you to like that you were away from home for like
yes.
Like you just left and that was it, right? Yes. So tell us a little bit about, because I think it's really important to understand how I think sometimes we feel like we have to have it all together. We have to paint this picture. It has to be perfect, right? And it's like, it's so refreshing sometimes to hear that, listen, I don't have it together. And this is what I'm challenged with. This is what I'm going through right now. Like, I'm depressed. I will tell, and I tell this story all the time, but during the pandemic, I had multiple breakdowns, had anxiety. For the first time, like I really saw myself actually having panic attacks and anxiety attacks, which either I wasn't self-aware before then or I didn't have them. I don't know which one, but I started noticing those things and I'm like, what in the world? And those things are actually more common. They're not. And especially as a woman, you're starting a new family, a new phase of life. You're in a different place. You've been with your family the whole time. And then you get depressed. Like, what were some of the signs that you were able to identify? Oh, wait, I don't think I'm okay right now.
When my firstborn, Mia, was born, my parents came a week or two after she was born. And they spent, 5 to 7 days, something like that. Okay. Yeah. And when they left, I got depressed. So, and I knew it wasn't postpartum.
Right. Okay.
It's just, when I would talk to my mom, I would feel teary and cry, or just thinking about her, like, because she also helped me bathe Mia. Yeah. Because I was just so scared of how to handle her. And because, our moms, they just take the baby.
They just know everything. Yeah.
But I got over it, and it was just like, you just have a good cry, and then you're like, I'm good.
Yes. It's like a release.
Yes. And I was good. But yeah, that was one time that I felt like that. And then during the years, as they're getting older, I would tell Jonathan, I said, the day that my parents or one of them pass away, I will die. Oh. And he's like, gee, thanks.
Oh my goodness.
Every day I would call them.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Every day I would call them.
So you talk to your parents. You talk to your parents every single day.
Every day.
Wow.
Every day. And then my father, he would pick up the phone and I'm like, hey Dad, how are you? Now I'm waiting to have a conversation with him, but he's always in a hurry. So I was like, hey Dad, how are you? He goes, good. Hold on for your mom. And I was like, what? But I haven't finished talking to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh. So you would say that maybe you had a little bit of a closer relationship with your mom versus your dad, or it was just different?
It was different.
Okay.
It was different. I think I would go to advice for my dad.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. And why not your mom?
But then I would go to my mom for help. It's just different. Okay. Like my mom, if I was in a financial need, I would call her and say, Mom, I'm just making this up. Mom, I need $1,000. And she's like, is everything okay? I said, yeah, and I'll pay you back. She goes, when do you need it by? Like, no questions asked.
Wow.
You know, and she goes, okay, I'll get it for you. I'm like, thank you.
Ladies, I know there's so much to do and not enough time in the day. Trust me, I'm right there with you. But what are you doing for yourself? Well, I've recently discovered Body Bar Pilates. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Body Bar Pilates will challenge all of your major muscle groups and provide you with a full body workout. Wow. Listen, I had to check it out. I took a class with Sherelle and it was amazing. They have workouts for all skill levels, whether you're just starting out or you're just looking for a new way to move your body. This is the community for you. Check out my friends at Body Bar Pilates East Cobb or give them a call at 678-941-4371. And don't forget to mention me, Harli G.
With my dad, it was
More situational, maybe?
yeah,
Like here's a scenario, I don't quite know what to do, and I'm not trying
yeah.
to put
Okay,
words in
so
your
this
mouth.
is a good example.
Okay.
While we were in New York, I was going to college and I was taking marketing because I thought I was creative. I thought I could draw. Well, apparently not. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it, and I saw other students who were more
skilled at it.
more skilled
Okay.
and I was like, yep, this is not for me. So I went home and I spoke to my mom about it, and she goes, she had a heart attack. No, that you should finish what you start and blah blah blah. Well, you talk to your dad when he comes home. So now I'm like this.
Right.
So my father comes home from work, and I said, Dad, I have to talk to you. And I start crying. And he goes, why are you crying? I was like, I just want to change your majors, but my mom said that I should finish. He goes, no,
Change your major.
you're not happy.
Aww.
You're not happy, so change it. It's okay. And I was like, are you sure? Yeah, it's okay. So that's why I guess I started going to him, because he was just,
Yes.
he was more logical, and he was calm, and so yeah. And then my father also. Okay, what I love about my father, he's the emotional and sensitive one.
Really?
Yes. So we would call him the crybaby baby. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And my mom, she would cry, but yeah, my father was
Wow.
the crybaby baby. So he would cry. He would cry. If something touched him, he would cry, and
he wasn't afraid to show his
no.
emotions.
No.
I love that.
So that's why we would kind of tend to go to my father first.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So that, yeah.
Okay. I love it. And I believe that I actually remember when this is so crazy. So I just want to tell the listeners so they can put things in perspective. You live on a street, it's a cul-de-sac. And literally on the other side of your street, your parents moved in. Like literally, like you can see your parents' house from where you live. Wow. I mean, you're talking about closeness, because let me tell y'all something. I love my parents. I do. I love them. But there is no way in the world that they're going to live across the street from me. We just need a little bit of distance. And you know what? They actually came. We were literally talking about this right before we started recording. And they came. They stayed with us for a few months. And it was fine knowing that they're going to leave.
Yes. Yes.
So it's like, I'm thinking like, and like I said, I love my parents. Let me tell you something. I had absolutely no worries when my parents were here. They spoiled me. They spoiled the kids. They make sure that I treat Stanley like a wife should treat Stanley. All that stuff. Okay. Like all of that. And, but to have like, I would want to have them close by, but not that close. Like I want to be able to drive to their house and make it there within 10 minutes, but just not across the street. But you had no, I actually remember when your parents were making the move from New York to here, and they moved like literally right across the street from you.
Yeah.
Wow.
It just happened that way. We were in a new subdivision.
Yep.
And they were building this house. So when we looked at it, we just mentioned to my mom, and she goes, I think that's perfect. And then we said, okay, and we did the closing. I mean, everything was just ran smoothly,
yeah,
flawless, wonderful. And then later on, you're like, ooh, that is.
Now you think about it, you're like,
that is a little close.
They're right across the street.
And as I get older, and if something happened at home, structurally, they will call Jonathan.
Yeah.
And he'll be busy.
Right.
So they will call me, of course, and then I would tell him, and then he goes, I'll go later. Well, they'll call me every 5 minutes. Well, why isn't he here? Why isn't he here?
Okay.
Because he's not doing anything. In their mind.
He has a whole job.
Yeah.
Y'all, okay? He has a whole job.
So those little instances, we were like,
maybe that's a little
it's a little close.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then your sister also moved in with them. Well, she was with them. And so you had your sister and your parents.
And my niece, her daughter.
Right, and her daughter, your sister's daughter, close by. And I wanted to, so what do you feel like was, we just talked about, we just touched on, depression right after you had your first child. What do you feel like was probably one of the most challenging times for you? And your father passed away. Was that it? And do you feel like you're still working through that? How are you getting through that?
To tell you the truth, I don't know. Okay. Because he deteriorated in 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, from like June until he passed away December. It was just rapidly. So fast.
Okay.
And again, during that time, I would say, I'm going to die, and especially my father.
Right.
Because I've had him always in a pedestal. And I know he's had his flaws, but even Jonathan teases me. He, if he asks me for a favor, hey, can you do that for me? And I'm like, oh, I'm tired. And he goes, oh, but if I was your father or your brother, you would do it like this. So, because that's why he knows how close I am to them. And I'm like, no, it's not that. Whatever. It's just at that moment I was tired. Or he would say, let me change my name to Pedro or Peter.
And then you'll do it.
Anyway, so because my dad was sensitive and because he was great financially, he was a good saver. He had everything, He loved to dance. He was social. He treated my mom. Oh my God, they were always lovey-dovey. You would see them.
Yeah.
Always lovey-dovey.
I mean, they were like the cute little people on top of the wedding cake, like the two figures. That was her parents.
Yeah. So I guess I was in denial because he was getting weaker and weaker. And also Jonathan wouldn't tell me.
What do you mean by that?
So I would.
So was he diagnosed with something, or he just became
with a lot? So
in
July, he was diagnosed with stage 1 lung cancer. He did radiation. He was fine.
Okay.
In September, he still felt weak. They did a bone marrow biopsy. He had pre-leukemia.
What? Okay.
Then in October, he got COVID.
Oh wow.
So COVID just
took him down. Okay.
And so that was October, and then he passed away December 15th.
Okay.
He just would not recover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so no, I'm asking because I would ask Jonathan, how do you think my dad looks? And he goes, he looks good. He looks good.
And so he was saying that to not have you worry?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
And that, the last couple of days, he was really bad. We called the ambulance. We took him to the hospital. I was there with him. And the doctor said his kidneys are failing. He needs dialysis.
Wow.
So, and my father, at that time, he was coherent, and he's looking at me, and he goes, what's going on? And I told him, Dad, your kidneys are not functioning, so they're going to do dialysis. And he just did another thing. and I'm trying to be strong, And then she said also that dialysis will probably be through the groin because his arms were so weak. Oh,
wow.
From July to December, it was like every other month he was in the hospital.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't have veins. Well, I go see him a few hours later. They did dialysis through his neck.
What?
Yeah. So, I would be strong in front of him, but, I would go home and cry. And then the last day, we go to the hospital, and the doctor said, okay, kidneys and lungs. Lungs are not functioning. And she says, when those two are not functioning, your body is just shutting down.
Okay.
So my mom is next to me. So here I am, the youngest of the three, telling my mom this news. And so the doctors said, there's nothing we can do. We can just shut off the machines if you don't want him to suffer. So I'm talking to the doctor. Mom, I was like, what is it? What is it? What is it? And I go, Mom, the doctor said this, this, and that. And then I think we should shut the machines down. And then she goes, no, your brother. And my brother went to Minnesota the day before my father. No, the day that my father had dialysis. And he said, if you need me, I'll come back.
Okay.
So she's like, what about your brother? Blah, blah, blah. And the doctor said, we can hold him on life support, but it's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And I call my brother, and he goes, I already said goodbye to my dad.
Wow.
So do what you got to do.
Okay.
So I immediately called Jonathan. He brought the kids over. I called Kethy. She was working. So everybody was there. And I feel blessed because months or a year later, remember COVID?
Yes.
You weren't allowed to be.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Right.
So we were all there, and we played some of his favorite songs. And Harli, yeah, I cried, but I was fine.
Okay.
I don't know. I was fine. And even Jonathan was scared because his friends would ask him, how's your father-in-law? How's your wife?
Yeah. Knowing.
And he's like, I don't know. I think she's going to explode. I think she's going to explode.
He's just waiting for it.
But no, he passed away. Of course, we cried. And then Harli, September, October, a few months before, we went to the funeral home and we started making arrangements. We just did that just to get prepared.
Right.
Well, the doctor said, no, the hospital asked what funeral home, and I told them. And they said, okay. So we had lunch because we were hungry. And then I got a call from the funeral director, and he goes, we just picked up your dad. So please prepare. Please prepare. Because then we just went home and relaxed. And the next day we went to a funeral home, and all we did was just sign more papers. But we didn't have everything was taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah. But,
so do you consider that one of the most challenging times?
Yeah, because I did the eulogy. Like I asked my brother, my sister, do you want to talk? They're like, no. So it was just like all on me. And I lost my best friend.
Do you still feel like sometimes it hits you?
Oh yeah, out of the blue. I think I've only dreamt with him 2 or 3 times. I want to dream with him every day.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But when I'm feeling down and I'm outside, I see a red cardinal. Supposedly, red cardinals, they say that when someone's passed away, it's in a red cardinal, something like that.
Wow.
So literally, I could be in my car and I'm just going through something and I see it. I'm like, oh my God, Dad. Or butterflies. Butterflies.
Yeah.
Something also with people who pass away. I was in someone's house by the garden and a butterfly. And I was like, oh, hi, Dad. And the butterfly was just around me and around me and around me. So I try to see signs that remind me of him.
Yeah.
And that comforts me. Would I want to dream with him more? Yes. So
yeah. So going through that experience, how do you feel it has? Thank you for that, and thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your emotions about something that is so near and dear to your heart. Like I can see, feel, your emotions, and the mission of the podcast is purpose, and it is also through your story. I don't know who's listening to this right now who needs to hear this. I don't know who's going through what right now who needs to hear this, right? And it's knowing that every situation that you go through, there's a purpose. So I always say there's purpose in your story. And sometimes we don't get to see the purpose right away because we're just kind of like, why did I go through this?
Yes.
Later on, we do sometimes have the opportunity to understand and realize and know why we have been through some of these stories, some of these experiences. What do you feel was the purpose of you going through that experience? And you may not, like I said, it may not be apparent now, it may be later, or it may not feel like ever, like what was the point of that, so maybe how has it impacted you as a mother, knowing that you had that relationship with your father? What is your relationship like as a mother?
I think it's impacted me, whereas with Mia and Noah, I want to be fair with them, and I don't want to be as strict. But I want to have those little nuances that my parents, or the teachings that my parents instilled in me. So I want to be, how can I say? I want them to remember how conservative or traditional my father was.
Yes. Right.
And just respect. Respect your father, respect your mother. Again, I don't want to be too strict like they were with me, but I'm not your best friend,
right? Right.
So hold on.
Yes.
Hold on, little girl. Hold on, little girl. Hold on, little boy. So I think they've also seen it for themselves. When we've gone to my parents' house, say, greet your parents.
Yes.
Greet your grandparents properly.
Yes.
Say goodbye to your grandparents properly.
Absolutely.
Engage in conversation.
Yeah.
Be grateful. Be appreciative.
Yes.
So she knows that. She and Noah knows that. Noah is the only grandson.
Oh, wow.
Of our immediate family.
Yeah.
And my father loved him so much that whenever he's like, hey, can I take Noah around? I'm like, yeah, here, go. But because I wanted Noah to have that relationship.
Yes.
So when my father passed away, he felt it too.
Oh.
He felt it too.
Yeah.
So and then also just like, family is everything.
It is.
When we've gone to Miami to be with my mother's side of the family, we're just so close.
Yeah.
And genuine, and we enjoy each other's company. Now there was a time where Mia's like, we've gone to Florida, but I really don't know Florida, because we go from house to house to house.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So she hasn't explored Florida, it's like we're always
Yeah, and I didn't get it because
yeah.
I don't care. I'm with
I
my
was like,
family.
yeah, exactly.
I don't need to go
What's
out.
wrong with you?
Yeah.
Right.
So the last few occasions that we've gone, yes, we've gone to an important event.
Yes.
And then I'll make time
to incorporate.
we've gone to
yes.
South Beach.
Yeah.
We've done a little touring. You know, and she's felt fine.
Yes.
But she also knows that deep down inside,
it's about family.
It's about family.
Yeah, exactly. And so you talked a little bit about Noah and how, you know, his relationship and his experience was with his grandfather. What about Mia?
So Mia loves them, I think, both equally. Yeah, I think now she's getting close to my mom because my mom wants to see her with a boyfriend.
Oh,
And,
oh gosh.
And she's like, Mia, when are you gonna have a boyfriend? So if
And how do you like have that conversation with your grandmother, of all people, right? It's like, yes, grandma, let me tell you about this boy I like. Like, what do you say to that?
yeah, and again, our parents are more open and
With
free with their grandchildren, but
then they were.
yeah.
Let me try to have that conversation with my mama. Love you, Jeanette, but no,
Yeah.
no.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, my mom
now
will
it seems
tease
like
her.
she's developing that
Yes.
closeness with your mom.
My mom.
Okay.
And it's cute.
Yeah. So what about your mom?
Oh my God. So we all thought she was going to lose it too. And strong.
Really?
Strong. Oh, she's learned to be independent.
Because like you said earlier at the beginning, your parents were inseparable.
Yes.
Right? And it's like now all of a sudden her partner is gone. Like
her partner who paid the bills. Her partner
Yes,
who took
like-
care of the house.
So how is she managing all, and I'm not saying that she's not capable,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
like now all of a sudden you have to do those things that you really never had to worry about, right?
Exactly. So luckily, my sister Kethy, she's helped because she during the last few years she would help my dad with the bills
Okay.
and you know he would give her more to do. So Kathy's taking care of that. She helps her with that. I'll see my mom again. She'll call us. Hey, I need the lawn mowed or shrubs. And we're like, okay, we'll go there when
Yes.
we have time.
Right.
Well, I'll just happen to pass by, and she's with those long scissors, like
She's
trying
doing
to
it
cut.
herself.
Yes. And then I'll call John. Then I said, she has those big scissors. He's like, I'm on my way.
That's motivation for you to get there.
What's funny or endearing is my father had a great green thumb. So he planted roses and everywhere, right
Yeah.
in the backyard, and then Jonathan built them a deck.
Oh wow!
Literally 6 months before he passed away, and he enjoyed his deck.
Yes.
So he had plants, all over. Well, after my father passed away, my mom, of course, she has to honor him, and she wants more plants, and so now I go to her house and I go, Mom, it looks like a little jungle. Because there's no flow.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no flow. And I'm like, I don't think that plant, gets along with that one. She's like, no.
Right.
I don't care. I don't care.
Her way. Right. She wants her to have it her way.
She wants to have her way. So I've been told, and people suggest that Kethy,
zip it.
that's your mom. And that's how she wants to keep my father alive.
Yeah, that's how she's keeping his
So
memory.
she's, she a week or two after she passed away, she went through his clothes.
Oh wow.
She distributed.
Really?
Yeah, she changed her bedroom.
Wow.
She changed it, and yeah, which we thought, because people I've heard or seen, they wait a year or more
to go through, like,
yes,
I want to keep it. It reminds me of them, keeping up with their memory. But your mother was like, no.
No. However,
Okay.
He passed away December 15th, 2021. Okay? To this day, she's still wearing black.
What?
Yes. So
how long are you supposed to? Is there a tradition or a
for immediate family, I mean, in our
yes?
Okay, so yeah, immediately parents, a spouse, 6 months to a year.
Wow, what approaching?
So it's like a year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half.
And we try, Mom, do black and white now, whatever.
Yes. Nope. She won't.
And again, it's her grieving.
Right. Her grieving process. Everybody's grieving process is different. And so you go through what you need to go through. You feel what you need to feel. And there's no right or wrong.
No. So she looks like a little Italian woman in black cutting shrubs. You know, and
in the hot summer of Atlanta. Wow. Whew. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to talk about is purpose. Where do you think you are on this journey of purpose? Do you feel like you found your purpose? Do you feel like you're still looking for it? Do you feel like, I don't know, Harli, it'll just come when it comes, you know?
Yeah.
And you have been through, I mean, tell us what you're passionate about. What is it that you enjoy doing? One thing I do know is that you were always, of course, you mentioned your family, but you were always there for your kids. They're involved, you know, whatever they wanted to be involved in, the whole family would show up. And so where do you feel you are on this journey of purpose? And what are some things that you feel like you're really passionate about that could potentially maybe lead you to purpose?
I'm still searching.
Okay.
And it's embarrassing because I see people like you or, you know, other friends and family, they already have their career set. And they're growing and I'm still searching. I'm a caregiver now. I do enjoy being with seniors.
Okay.
I enjoy organizing activities.
Yes.
So even little things like for Mother's Day, New Year's, everybody's like, "Oh, Kethy, what are you planning?" And you know, at first I'm thinking, I'm tired of it or whatever.
Right.
But the day comes, I'm like, everybody here's positions, you know. So I do.
Okay.
But I've done a little bit of everything, and I don't feel I've stuck to one thing. So in New York, I had a lot of medical jobs. So I was a medical transcriptionist. I was a medical assistant. I was a receptionist, a scheduler. Come to Georgia, my first job was an assistant to a surgeon doing scheduling also. That didn't work out. And then I went to Turner, Cartoon Network Latin America. 13 years.
13 years.
13 years.
Yep.
And that's how you and I know each other. So we've been, 15, 20 years?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I'm thinking, okay, so corporate America. I like that. You know, I was a senior operations coordinator, a lot of database. So when I got laid off at Cartoon Network, I went into State Farm.
Yes, I remember that.
State Farm. And I said, okay, well, I'm good with people.
Yeah.
I'm bilingual. And I could become a good sales agent. No.
Not really.
No.
Right.
I would call the people and I'm like, do you want to buy insurance? Can you?
Please buy it. Please. Right. And they're like, no. So
that didn't work out. So then I worked for a lawyer's office, personal injury. And I like that.
I remember that.
Yes. I enjoyed it. A lot of a lot of follow-up, and making sure the clients are doing what they're supposed to do. Go to your appointments.
Right.
Give me all the documentation.
Right.
But then the clients would be a little rude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, where's my money? Where's my money? You're not doing anything. You're not doing that. Sometimes lawyers, I'll leave it at that. And
Dot. Okay.
then the pandemic hit.
Yep.
And I stayed home. And like you, I was miserable at home. I had to work from home. I had to be with the kids because they're doing virtual.
Oh my gosh.
I had to tend to Jonathan.
Yep. Had to be a wife. You had to be a mother. You had to be a teacher.
Yes.
You had to be a co-worker.
And I would run to the bathroom to cry.
Oh gosh. Yes.
And then come out and just be like,
okay,
next.
Right.
So, yes, I would say that was one of my depressed moments. And I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And I felt ashamed because I was thinking, I'm Wonder Woman.
Yes.
I could do this. Why can't I do this?
Yep. Absolutely.
So then I left. Oh, because now I was working remotely. Then I stopped working at the lawyer's office. I stayed home just with the kids. I wasn't working. So Jonathan said, just dedicate your time to the kids. Now, even in virtual, the kids were getting 30s and 40s. They were failing.
Wow.
When I stayed home and we would sit down and look at the assignments, they went up to 90s.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So I stayed home for 6 months.
Okay.
October, November, December, January, February, March. Yes. 5 to 6 months. Well, now it's crunch time. Now you're like,
okay. So you're still not working.
I'm still not working.
You're still not working right now.
But I needed a job with flexibility.
Right. Okay.
So I just started applying and I went into caregiving with an agency that I would tell what hours, what my availability is.
Okay.
So that was great.
Okay.
The pay wasn't.
Okay.
But I needed that flexibility.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I would go to a client's house and I would just notice, I enjoy this. I enjoy being with them. I like taking care of them.
Yeah.
So now I'm not working for the agency. Now I'm working at an assisted living home / memory care with the seniors. And then maybe every other weekend I'll work in engagement activities.
Yeah.
So it's funny because during the Monday through Friday, I'm with my uniform with the seniors as a caregiver. And then when I'm doing engagement, I'll come dressed, business casual, and they're like, oh, you look nice, and I like that.
Yes.
So I feel I like that most. Yeah.
So so you're looking at, if we're taking a step back and we're looking at the positions and careers that you've had, this is what you enjoy doing the most.
Yes.
Okay.
So upon talking to you, I'm realizing, I guess I do.
But if you think about it, because you mentioned earlier how you like organizing and coordinating, there's a little bit of that, right? In what you're doing now. I'm just going to kind of throw something out there, but I think part of the reason why you might enjoy working with seniors is because that's where the void is, right? Your father's not there anymore. And that may be kind of your way of connecting, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But I love it. That's the thing about purpose is it's a journey. And it may start out like this, and then all of a sudden it starts evolving, and then you start finding what you're passionate about, what you enjoy doing, and it just takes you where it needs to take you. But So one question that I do want to ask you is, what do you feel like? What do you feel is your definition of purpose?
My definition of purpose, I guess, is to leave a legacy. To leave a legacy, and that I've had an impact on someone or something. Yeah.
That's your definition of purpose.
Yeah.
And I think you're doing that with the
I do have to give a shout out to Jonathan.
Okay.
Because when I'm starting to look for something with flexibility, he goes, Kethy, you enjoy being with older people. So aren't they jobs that,
that they actually pay you to be with older people?
Yeah, and I was and at first I'm like, no. I don't enjoy that much. What are you talking about? So yeah, and because of him, I'm also at Turner. I was also at Turner.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he
knows you.
He knows me.
Yes.
He knows me. So thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love it because I love just people talking about what that journey means to them and where they are in the journey, because we're all in different places.
Yes.
But I do believe there is a reason why our paths cross. I do believe that. And I remember when we worked at Turner together and we were on the van pool, I remember what the van pool did for me. And I would say, I would joke about it, but be totally serious about it. And I would say, y'all, this is my therapy sessions. This van pool time is my therapy sessions,
Yes,
okay?
yes.
And
yes.
everybody would have their input on what I should do and what should not do. But I felt like we all felt that way. We all felt like, oh my God, I'm going to be on the van pool and I'll be able to talk about it, and nobody, if you wanted to talk about it, you did. If you didn't, you didn't, but we made fun of you for not talking about it. But those years were, and that van pool was so instrumental to me. I needed it. It was what kept me sane. Like I'd be going through something and I'm like, I'll be able to go in the van pool and I won't feel judged. I won't feel like, oh my God, Harli.
It was our outlet.
It really was. I mean, it really was therapy sessions, like group therapy. That's what we did.
And we would have such a good time that when we got to our parking space, we're like, we're here already? We need more time.
I know. We hung out with each other. We saw each other every freaking day. And we still hung out with each other with Scott and Danny's pool. And another thing I loved about it is you were able to get so many different perspectives, right? And they were all respected, whether it was a perspective coming from, someone who has close family in their lives, someone who lives by themselves, someone who's younger, someone who's older, someone who has children. I mean, I went through, my first pregnancy, I lost the child and I felt like the van pool was there for me. And then when I got pregnant again, like all those, there's so many big milestones where I felt like the van pool was there for me.
Yes.
It was amazing. It was amazing. So that was, leaving Turner really was not bad at all. I mean, we got some nice severance packages. But it was the people that I was not going to be around every day.
Yes.
That really that stung. That stung, right? Yep. So I thank you for that. I thank you for sharing your perspective and sharing your family. And I remember when I got pregnant, when I gave birth to one of the kids, I mean, there's so many of them. When I gave birth to one of the kids, whatever, I remember you bringing a meal to the house for us because, I had literally just had the kids. And so like all of that. We were doing life together, and
Yes.
that was my community at the time, because we didn't have family here in Atlanta at all, and so the van pool was my family,
Yes.
and that was amazing. So
And I thank you, because as I'm talking about it, because no one asks those questions, and then when you answer it, you find your answer.
yes.
So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, being vulnerable. And I love that you have this community, this family, and you're going to be okay, Kethy, because they're going to be there. They're going to be there for you. Your kids are so fortunate that they got to see this amazing grandpa figure in their lives that's still impacting them to this day. Noah will never forget his grandfather, never. You know, and Mia has a grandmother now, so pull everything you can out of her. Mia, pull it, like just pull it, okay? Oh my goodness. But I thank you for sharing your story and sharing your family with us and with our listeners. We really, truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. I told you I'd make you cry. That was in a written agreement, by the way. No, but so that is our show for today. I thank you, insiders, for hanging in there with us. I really hope that you were able to take something out of Kethy's experience. And tomorrow is never promised. You just don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I remember a college professor saying that go home and hug somebody today. Go home and tell somebody that you love them, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't mean to sound dreary, but I say that to say, just hold your loved one a little bit tighter today.
Yes.
Because you can. So do that. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in to Inside the Bubble with Harli G. We drop episodes on Mondays. We are also on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook. We're putting stuff out on YouTube as well, so make sure to hit up our YouTube channel. And of course, we are actually approaching our 1 year anniversary.
No way.
Yes,
Oh my
I
God.
cannot believe it. So I'm up to something. So I really want everybody to tune in and stay tuned and keep listening, because yes, I am cooking something. And I can't wait to share it with you all. So make sure that you stay tuned. But that's it. So till next time, make sure you tune in. We are on all of the podcast platforms, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcasts, we are there. So make sure to tune in. And until next time, what I always say is, there's purpose in your story. I hope you enjoyed our show today. Hit the subscribe button and share. Share this pod with your family, with your friends, with your girlfriends, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Inside the Bubble with HG. Keep the conversation going. Drop us a heart emoji. Engage with us. We would love to hear from you. New episodes are dropping every Monday on your podcast streaming platforms. And remember, there's purpose in your story.